everyone, it's Andy. Hiya. People are joining us all the time. So it's a weird thing, this music. I thought you probably could pick it up because it was pretty loud where I'm listening, but there's obviously a reason why nobody can listen to music. So just let me know if you can hear me. Hi there, Anita and Peter. Just let me know. Just do a yes or a yay if you can hear me okay. That's cool. I think we'll have to abandon the music from now on. Excellent. So that's coming through loud and clear. We'll just give it a moment or two to more people are joining us now as we speak. So just give it a moment or two. There's Ian from glorious Swindon. Oi, oi. So had amazing pickup from his catalogues today. So £15 an hour, he said. So pretty cool. Hi, Josh. So just give it a little bit more time. The numbers are growing as I speak. Hope that those who were at Swindon yesterday really enjoyed themselves. What I'm going to do tonight is just really, I was going to do something called Balancing Your Business, but after yesterday's fantastic meeting, I thought it'd be a good idea just to pick out some bits and bobs from that meeting, especially from people who couldn't make it, because there were so many valuable things that came across from the great speakers. Awesome training yesterday from Ian. It certainly was. And I just want to pick out some bits and pieces because there's some real threads and real themes that came out of that, success leaves clues. And I thought we'd just go through some stuff. So I just dived in and picked out some of the slides. I'm going to go through those. So hopefully you're going to get something out of it if that's the first time you've seen it and you weren't there. But also if you were there, just a bit of a recap, because I think it was such an awesome meeting. It's sometimes good to have a look again at some of the things that came out of it. So I'm going to get cracking, and I'm sure we're going to get one or two latecomers jump on as we go through. But I'm going to crack on, aiming to do this within the next sort of 25, half an hour, something like that. So the title, obviously, is Keys to Success Swindon. And let's get on to the first slide. The wrong mouse. I've got mouses and two computers here. Here we go. First one. Course I thought was great. And he kicked it off yesterday with some really good basics and then really started a theme for the rest of the day. So his basics was really just a recap as to what this business is all about. And it's learn how to retail £1,000 in 4 weeks. So you earn retail profit of £205, volume profit £60, £265 overall. And I think pretty well everybody who's on this webinar are pretty well up to speed with that. Well, here's one just thought I'm going to add to that, because some people are doing this really, really part-time. This £1,000 takes you way past the 10% block of business level. Now, if you're really not really got the time to actually do £1,000 every 4 weeks, £250 per week, hey, sponsor somebody into the business who does maybe 500. And between you, you'll get to that 10% block of business. So if you can do £1,000 or start off with £400, £500, £600 and build up to £1,000, that's great. But don't get too hung up on not hitting that £1,000 straight away. That's something you can build and develop. Really down to how much time you've got available. Really down to whether you're doing it part-time, heavy part-time or full-time. So people's circumstances and backgrounds are all different. So don't get too hung up on that. This is a real good aim, a real good target to build to in maybe the first 2 or 3 months, but it really is down to how much time you've got available. It's understanding the principle is the real key. Now, taking it to the next, with me, slide jump there. Now, the thing that you really need to take on board if you want to build this business, it's all about duplication. So if you learn how to create a block of business of £1,000, and that may be you and somebody else doing it together, but a block of business of £1,000, if you actually introduce 10 other people and show them how to do the same, you've got a business turnover now of £11,000. Well, that will give you something called volume profit from your PSG of £900. So your overall income is suddenly over £1,200. And it was interesting, Andy, Mr. Ridley Ridders was recognised for getting 10 wide people active in the business. And so he's really doing exactly this, focusing on getting people at least 10 wide who are active in the business. So that's, that's something you can develop as you start to grow in it. So this is the principles of developing a really good business. The next slide is moving on from actually showing people how to get on board, showing them how to build a block of business of 1,000, but then showing people how to build a business, a gold distributor business. And this example here, there are 5 people who've got to gold. So this could be 2 to 5 years further down the road. But the thing is, what you're suddenly achieving, as well as the gold distributor income, you're now actually earning another bonus, which is called a royalty bonus, and it's very, very significant. In this example here, you're earning £3,730. So that's a very, very significant income. And obviously there are stepping stones to that as you develop your business. Thing on the next slide, a huge amount of that at this point becomes residual income. So when you actually get to achieve residual income, that means you actually create a lifestyle, if you like. You're actually beginning to get a freedom to actually do what you want, when you want, how often you want to do it. So you're actually changing your whole life, if you like. Now, I worked for civil service 24 years. I never had a residual income. The moment I stopped working for the civil service, I didn't get paid. And that's a job. And I had to work 40 hours, sometimes 50, 60 hours a week to actually get my income. I couldn't take time off unless I had permission from the boss. Now, with a residual income, which is very much like having money in the bank, getting interest on it, getting interest from investments, etc., or writing a book and getting royalties from a book, which, a lot of people aren't going to be doing that. This is a really great way of building up that residual income. So Craig was just going to get that point across, because it's a very simple business plan. Do a block of business of £1,000, show others how to do it, show others how to get the gold distributor, and that's really the basic simple plan, but it's incredibly powerful. Now, I've just picked out a slide from Craig where he set up some business goals. So if you're early days or you're beginning to build your business, some of these things are what we call business goals. Now, you could pick anything from here and start to work on it, because the point of a goal is to give you a target to aim for. You can create a time scale when you want to do it. You work out what you need to do to achieve that goal, create a plan. This is what you can do with your sponsor. An upline is actually develop a plan to hit a goal. So that could be a business goal of getting to gold, retailing £1,000, sponsor 4 frontliner period. There's a whole load of things on there. It could be getting a clean, easy car, or go on a conference. So many different things you can create as a goal, Directors Club, which will help you set, if you like, some activity with a date so you can work towards it. It gives you tracks to run on. So having business goals as well as personal goals is really, really important. And that was a great point that Craig brought up. A couple of other points that I thought were really interesting from Craig was we earn retail profit and we earn bonuses. Now, not everybody wants to do this because it's your business, so it really depends on why you're in the business. But a mindset that Craig has always used, and I've always had the same mindset, is the retail profit from your retailing pays for the business. So that's always paid for my overheads, it's paid for advertising, it's paid for running the business. So I've used that as for my business overheads. So in other words, it's a self-funding business. And then your bonuses, they become your financial future, lifestyle, your income that you're living on. And one of the things about the theme of this, and it came across from everybody, is to create a lifestyle, you don't have to be a big earner. And we're going to start talking about lifestyle as we go through some of the other slides. Like that. This is Craig and his wife and some of his kids. And one of the things, Craig used to be a bank manager. I think towards the end of that, he began to hate his job. I used to be a fraud investigator in a benefits department, hated the job in the end. And it's purely because I had no control over my life. And this is exactly the same for Craig. So once he got out of his jobs, he created or began to create some lifestyle. And this is just a shot, one of his favorite shots, Empire State Building, I think it is, in New York. And he could do it because he could take time off whenever he wanted to, and he could have some extra income coming in that allowed him to do that. So that's the beginnings of lifestyle. Right, I'm just going to move on to get this to work. There we go. Right. There we go. Lorraine Walken, too many clicks. I thought Lorraine was absolutely brilliant. She's a lady who's been in the business for a few years now. She's had her ups and downs. She used to be a barmaid and ran a pub, had some challenges with that and had to rebuild their life effectively. So that she's been in the business for quite a while. She talks about building your Clean Easy brand. What's your story? One of the things I picked out from this is don't be ashamed of your story. It will inspire others. And I thought that was a really great quote because no matter where you are in the business, there's always going to be somebody else who would like to copy what you're doing. So if you've just joined, you might be a mum who's got kids and want to just create an income, maybe an extra £300, £400, £500 a month because you've got some time gaps when the kids are at school. If you do that, you've got a story that's going to appeal to somebody else. It could be that you've managed to kick your job into touch because you hate it and you hated the hours and you hated the boss and you hated the lack of holiday. That could be your story that, again, will inspire somebody else. So don't be ashamed of your story if it's not huge yet, because it will inspire others without a shadow of a doubt. So Lorraine carried on saying, building your Clean Easy brand, 3 primary elements to your Clean Easy business: the products, the compensation plan, and probably the biggest thing is you, because you can have the biggest impact, obviously, on your business. It's up to you what you do with your business. The other 2 things, we've all got a level playing field. We've all got the same products, compensation plan. But the thing that makes the difference is you. I thought another neat slide she came up with is change. If you want things to stay the same, you just don't do anything different. If you want things to change, you've got to do things. You've got to take action. You've got to change things. Action changes things. I thought that was quite a neat quote because if you get stuck into this business, it's one of those laws that if you get doing stuff, things start to happen. And if you really get off your butt and get working the business, you'll be amazed how things start to really progress. And we've seen that over the years with so many people. Once people start taking action, the changes take place. So action changes things. I thought that was quite a good little quote. Where should I begin? Work local. Oh, hang on. Go back to the previous slide. Where should I begin? Work local, but think global. This business, and I think Lorraine highlighted this really neatly. We always used to say work local in terms of your catalogues, but now we've got the online side of the business. Local can be the whole of the UK and Ireland, because online you can actually build your business across the whole of the UK and Ireland. And global is something, having chatted to Michael earlier on in the day, and I'll talk about that in a bit, they're really beginning to get serious about moving overseas, so probably more serious than I thought they were and quicker than I thought they were. So have a mentality of working local, which could be across the whole of the UK and Ireland. Have a retail plan, and that's where you need to chat to your sponsor and upline. Have a sponsoring plan and just take one step at a time. Really sound advice, and Lorraine, her business is beginning to rock and roll at the moment. So that was really, really sound advice from Lorraine. When do I want to get to gold by? Just takes 28 days to get to gold. So it just takes 4 weeks a period to get to gold. But the key is set a date. So many people in this business, once they've made a decision to go gold, and it could be a year, 2, 3 years into the business, they set themselves maybe a 90-day plan. And this is where you need to really work hard with your upline sponsor to create that plan. Just work the numbers consistently and you'll learn the skills along the way. But be patient, give it time. But if it's how quick do you want to get to gold by? It's the date you make the decision. And once you've made that decision, it's amazing how many people eventually get gold. So it's really down, not when you started, but when you make the decision to go gold. Why will you go that extra mile to achieve it? Well, it's going to be down to your why, which is very, very personal to you. And it's creating a bit of an emotional tie to your why, and I think that's so, so important. And Lorraine went on to say, you can have more than you have right now, and that's perfectly true. Why settle for good when you could be great? So it's, start getting that glass ceiling away so you can start to move forward and give yourself permission to dream bigger than ever before. So once you start to get stuck in and you build that confidence, you can then begin to believe you can do something perhaps you never considered before. And again, you start to move out of your comfort zone and stretch yourself. Then things will start to off. Bibby was, I thought, hilarious yesterday, and his story. I'll give you a little bit of a background to his story. He was a prison officer, been a prison officer was in the Navy for a while, and then became a prison officer. And in fact, his brother Mike Bibby was also a prison officer, and it's the sort of job where you have shift work, you have stress. He quite enjoyed it for a time, but it was going nowhere. And what he was discovering, he wasn't getting any lifestyle. Half the time he never saw his kids because of the shift work. Getting time off was a nightmare. So he got to a point where he was basically sick and fed up and tired of being a prison officer. So he got stuck into Clean Easy. His brother, as David said, made him join. Best decision he ever made. And he actually developed his business whilst he was part-time, whilst he was a prison officer. Next slide. There we go. Let's have a with my this. You're going to have to be patient. Here we go. His friends were all prison officers. Basically said he was a sad sod. He wouldn't last, and they ridiculed him. I had a bit of that when I was working in the civil service. They thought I was barking mad to do Clean Easy. They certainly didn't believe it wouldn't last, and they took the mickey out of me. And exactly the same from that. And I think I saw Andy Dennison. I think was it Andy actually said that I think one of his in-laws basically said something very, very similar. And do you know what? It's one of the biggest motivators you can get when people said you're not going to be able to do it. It's a waste of time, and they take the mickey, because I tell you what, you do anything to prove them wrong. So your friends quite often, surprisingly, aren't really that supportive. So expect it is the message. From his own point of view, he had doubts about the business. He wondered whether they were right, and he had obstacles. So all these things you're going to have. But I tell you what, the one thing that came through it was his why. Why he's doing it, what did he want, and when did he want it by? And his why was to create a bit of lifestyle that he never, ever had as a prison officer. And basically, he wanted to leave his job, and he actually set himself a date to do it, which tied in. I think he was aware that within the prison service, there was a lot of redundancies and a lot of changes. So he was determined to get out, to time it with that. And he actually did. And also he managed to get his wife out of her job as well. So they created, if you like, a lifestyle. And this is the thing that came across and was beginning to come across from everybody, was the lifestyle you can get, which is not necessarily, becoming rich or anything like that, but it's doing things that perhaps you couldn't do in the real world, such as going to Disney, Florida. He told a story about going to first Disney Paris with his grandchildren, and then going to Florida, and then it became a real habit going with the family and the kids to Florida. And because you can actually take time out whenever you want to in this business, it's amazing how if you go out of season, how cheap these things can be, because other people can't go normal times. Other people have to go on school holidays, peak times when it costs a fortune. People can go, if you've got that time freedom, people can go at off-peak times and get some fantastic bargains, and you can begin to do these things once a year, twice a year. You can take your grandchildren if you've got grandchildren. I'm looking forward to that. Great little photo with him and his grandchildren swimming with dolphins, and you can imagine how this impacts on your family life in a really positive way. Just got another slide coming up. I'm going to have to use a different clicker. Right, there we go. We've got another picture there with David in South Africa with Clean Easy. In fact, I think we went on this trip at the same time. And, you know, we did things that we would never, ever do outside of Clean Easy. And we did things that I never went abroad when I was in the civil service. Didn't have the time, didn't have the money. But since we left the civil service and we built our Clean Easy business, we've been, and my wife Carolyn and the kids have been around the world. We've been to Disney, and an awful lot of the reason why is we created freedom to do it when we want to do it. Some more slides with David Bibby. And I'm sort of doing a little bit on David because I just want to inspire people to begin to believe this lifestyle thing. David's been to New York several times with the company. I think he said he's been to New York, his favourite place, 10 times. Now, it doesn't have to cost a fortune to do this. The point I'm trying to get across is you can do it at off-peak times when it suits you on your terms. New York was a bit of a theme for David. Here he is again in New York, and he just loves doing things like this. So his passion, if you like now, is having the freedom, plus the income, having the freedom to do things in the way that he wants to do it. He's not tied down, he's not restricted by working I was going to say a 9-to-5 job, but it's working, you know, the hours that, you know, shift work, awful hours. He's escaped that, and everybody has the opportunity to escape that. So what does this all add up to? Well, you know, the word that was coming across loud and clear was a fantastic lifestyle. So, if you like, the theme of the day was lifestyle. I'm wildly, here we go. With that lifestyle, you can achieve that with Clean Easy, with the fantastic conferences that a lot of the people in the Fast Track group have been on, and obviously India is just coming up and it's nearly gone there. It's going to be May, but we've got Mexico coming up, May 2017, and everybody can have a crack at achieving something fabulous like Mexico, all paid for, 5-star. And once you begin to go on these things, you begin to then have massive reasons why you want to be involved in Clean Easy for the rest of your life, effectively, because of the things that it can bring you. Andy Buxton. Andy Buxton, I thought, did a fantastic slot at the end. His theme was game, fun, and money. The game is actually doing Clean Easy, building your Clean Easy business, but he just loves to have fun and make money at the same time. And when you think about it, you know, why make it a chore? Why not have some fun in what you're doing? You know, within our group, particularly down in Bristol, because there's quite a few of the gang down here. Lots of things happen. We've got some great people who organise things like Heather and Bridget, doing 10-pin bowling and Mexican nights. You can have some real fun with this business. So if you actually, your mindset turns the business into something a little bit different to work a job, I think this is a great theme. You know, the game of Clean Easy can give you fun and money. Achievement. That's a word that Andy Buxton threw in, and it got us to think about some of the achievements that we had, you know, at any point in our lives. Bear with me a little bit while I try and get these. There we go. It's come up. And he asked us, think of anything that you have done in your life and how it made you feel. So that could have been anything at school. It could have been anything that you've done, maybe at college or a sporting thing. You know, actually achieving something, it really makes you feel special. So he was really getting a point across that, you know, if you can actually build a business and actually create that feeling of achievement, you know, how special that's going to make you feel. I thought that was a great sort of way of getting across how this business can really, you know, can really make a difference to you. Now, Andy Buxton was in the corporate world and was probably on good money, but he hated his life. He dreaded going to work. And he made a decision, drew a line in the sand, enough is enough, and decided to get stuck into the business, and develop a full-time business and just break away from that 9 to 5, which is really more like 7 to 8 for a lot of people, and break away from it. And he actually, had a plan, got stuck in, and actually worked it and became successful within the business. Just waiting for a slide to catch up. Here we go. And he created success, and now for many years he's been enjoying the journey. He's been all over the world with Clean Easy, Jamaica, Cape Town, India, Paris, Dubai, on the Caribbean cruise. So many fantastic trips. He's had a huge amount of success. We've got some really funny pictures here, so you can see how he loves to have fun. This was on the Caribbean cruise, and they had so many themed nights. I think they had a fantastic time on that cruise. Totally unforgettable experience, and the sort of stuff you can have, but especially if you go with team around the world, it's just incredible. I'm just going to rattle through some pictures here with Andy. As you can see, he's a bit of a character. So his theme of having fun and making money, he's in a completely different world now to the world of his corporate times. And he was a manager, he had staff, he had stress, probably good income, a lot of hours. His world is completely different now. Just waiting for another slide to catch up. Here we go. There's another slide of Andy. This was in Jamaica, where they're all dressed up with a bit of a theme. It was we had a barbecue on the beach. Really funny. Vicky will remember this. She was performing on stage, if you like, doing a bit of a dance type thing, which brought the house down. You can see the fun that people have. But here's the thing that he was trying to get across. Yesterday's home runs don't win tomorrow's ball games. So what he was getting at, whatever's happened previously to yesterday, it's over. And at the end of the day, you've got to the future, where you're going to go in the future. So you've got to constantly think ahead. No point in sitting and resting on your previous escapades and successes. You've got to keep thinking of the future. And, that's really the point that Andy was getting across. And he's pulled out some great quotes. I'm just going to whiz through that I thought were really fantastic. The things to change for you, you have to change. So there's a great quote here from Charles Darwin. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. Now, the point in that is we're going through a lot of change at the moment. And, and we're talking, the social media, online. Now, we've got choices. We can either ignore it or embrace it. Now, we know the catalogue side of the business is doing absolutely fantastic, probably better than ever before. But we also know the online side of the business is beginning to grow and evolve, and we're beginning to build systems that can bring huge additions in terms of business, retail, sponsoring, on top of using the catalogues. But the catalogue business is fantastic still, so please don't ignore it. If you've joined with online kits, have a crack at using the catalogues and building customers through catalogues as well. If you've joined with catalogues, have a crack at getting into the social media, the online side as well. And that's going to be, as the years go on, that's going to be particularly relevant as we break into Europe. So, got to be responsive to change. I've been in the business for 23, 24, coming up to 24 years, bit of a dinosaur, and I'm just forcing myself to get my head around the social media side of things. I'm not the quickest, I'm not the best. We've got people way better than me, like Josh in the business, who's really cracking on. But I'm going to embrace it and move forward. So I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to sidestep it. I'm going to, meet the challenge, if you like, because I know you've got to be responsive to change. Really important message. Major or minor, another great little slide. Set a goal, might be a business goal, personal goal, make a plan, get to work, stick to it, reach that goal. It's a pattern that you can repeat over and over. Tiny steps forward, walking and talking, walk the walk, talk the talk. Value each step. Each step you make in building the business, just appreciate it, because it's an achievement, and it's also an achievement you can teach others. What's the most I can do to help? Now, what he means by that is, if I'm working on what I'm doing, how can I, help my business move forward? What's the most I can do to help my business forward? But also, if you've got a team, what's the most I can do to help my team move their business forward? Get involved. This is particularly for new people. Get involved in everything. So, if we've got a great Facebook group, get involved in the group. Interact, make comments. Really positive ideas, thoughts on there. Get involved in things. If you can get to a meeting, get involved in the meeting. Probably the biggest thing out of this little list in tiny steps moving forward is have a thirst for knowledge. Just try and find out, as much as you can about this business, the industry, the company, the people who are successful. Have a thirst for knowledge. Just wait for this next slide to come up, which is going to come any second now. Tiny steps back. So this is the opposite to tiny steps moving forward. And tiny steps back is never actually getting started. Little or no commitment to your business, being inconsistent, putting catalogs out some weeks, not putting them out the next week. I can put my hand up on this in terms of social media. This is something you've got to work on and develop a habit of doing it on a daily basis. I've got to get up to speed with that. Listen to great advice, but then ignoring it. It's very easy to go to a meeting and hear some great training and then go away and ignore it and have no passion for achievement. You're just, don't treat it like a job. This is something you can build for your future. So having a passion for the business. Successful people know what they want and how to get it. Successful people know what they want and how to get it. The other lot know what they hate and who to blame. Which side of the fence do you want to be on? Andy had some great words going through his training, and I thought this was particularly, it's a question you can ask yourself. Successful people know what they want and how to get it. Do you want to be one of those people, or do you want to be the other lot? Know what they hate, whinge, moan, and who to blame. So get yourself on the right side of the fence. It does make a difference. Timing. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command, and better tools will be found as you go along. So in other words, don't wait until everything's perfect before you get going. You've got plenty of tools out there. Get stuck in and build your business. And other tools will appear and you'll get better at what you're doing. Great little quote from Napoleon Hill. Procrastination, that's the thief of success. I'm very busy doing things I don't need to do in order to avoid doing anything I'm actually supposed to be doing. Organising your desk, getting everything perfect, redecorating the office, so to speak, rather than just getting stuck in. Procrastination is the thief of time, I think they say. Just waiting for this next slide to come through. Bear with me. All right, listen. Go back to that one. Bear with us. Listen. The biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand. We listen to reply. So in other words, if somebody's saying something, all you're thinking about is as a reply, as opposed to listening and then understanding what they're saying before replying. So important is to really listen cleverly before making a reply. So important. Avoid the negative. This is one of the biggest things that bugs me. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not oblivious to what's going on. I'm just a professional avoider of drama, whining, and bullshit. And if you can, everybody has these things in their life, and you've got a choice. It's not to say you're ignoring it, but you've got a choice to actually avoid it and just let it wash over you, because it doesn't actually help you to get stuck into drama and whining and just nonsense. There's plenty of that out there. Just avoid it, and your life will be way better for it. design your own life plan is a great quote from Jim Rohn. If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they plan for you? Not much. So, you know, if you're with an organization, a job, or you're working for an employer, bottom line is, whatever they plan for you is not for your benefit, it's for theirs. So, you know, if you want to take control of your life, you've got to do something a little bit different and maybe get out of the control of somebody else. Right, Mr. Catcar. This was the bit that having a conversation with him, aside from his inspirational talk yesterday, the future looks very bright. Now, he actually, I think, said this in his talk, but chatting at half-time to him, had quite a long chat, he confirmed that they've now got new offices and a new warehouse sorted, and very excited about that, because it means then now will be 100% control of running of the business and the future. So, you know, certain issues we've had with picking and packing and stock and so on and so forth will start to improve massively when they transfer everything from Findell Warehousing, which was our old company. We've got a contract until, I think, September, October with them, and we'll be well on track by then with our new offices and warehouse. So that is fantastic news. And he also said that the warehouse is being designed and kitted out for the future. And that doesn't mean expansion in the UK, it also means planning expansion overseas as well. So that is just fantastic news. The other thing that Michael chatted to me about was reducing running costs. And one of the major running costs is obviously catalogues, and he's seeking, if possible, to reduce the running costs of our business. Now, there's no guarantees to any of this, but it shows his mindset is now genuinely on our side. And the other exciting thing is he's seeking to bring all the retail profit up to 21%. Currently, online and also with the K-Life, we get slightly different percentages, but he's seeking to bring all the retail profit up to 21%. He was never involved in the previous setup with, I think originally it was 10% on K-Life. He actually argued against that from the very start, saying it, you know, we got to look at ways of maintaining our income rather than reducing our income, which effectively was putting profits in the company and not profits in our pocket. His mindset has always been completely against that. So he's looking really important to bring all our retail profit up to 21%. Also, understanding what we need. Now, Michael has been out in the network, within the network, all his life. He knows exactly what we need. So out of anybody who could take over as MD, he's basically best placed. And he's also can do both roles. He can continue to be out there with the network, just keeping a finger on the pulse as to what we want and what we need, which is incredibly important. And his bottom line is take care of the network, and the network will take care of the business. Now, it's a different attitude that we've probably never, ever had, because previous MDs, their number one thought was, driven by the way it was organised, was, you know, how do we make profits for the company? You know, can we cut back on things? And, you know, can we cut back on commissions? Can we put catalogue prices up to make sure the profit for the company was there, rather than finding ways to allow us to increase our business and in turn increase the profit of the company. Things have now been redressed in the right way. Now we're with JR, as the new name is called, the American company. They are network marketing people, so they buy into what we want. And Michael has always bought into that. So that's why it's been very, very important for Michael to take over, because he's working this business in the way that we want it to be worked, which is so, so important. Just waiting for my next slide. So lifestyle is really the theme I've been trying to drag out of some of those slides when they eventually come through. Lifestyle is the one thing you can get from this business. Now, what lifestyle means to me is freedom. Freedom to be able to do the things on my terms, in the way I want to do it. So for me, example of a cup of coffee and a Costa, on a sunny morning somewhere. And they've got a little recruiting sign there, by the way. A lifestyle for me is doing things on my terms. So I don't have to do anything in my life, but I do what I want to do because I can. So that lifestyle is so precious. David Bibby, said he's going to be in clean easy for the rest of his life because it now gives him a lifestyle that he wants. Craig Hawkes, exactly the same. It gives him a lifestyle. Andy Buxton is a lifestyle. Having a laugh, building, the game, which is the clean easy, building the clean easy system, having fun, having money. It's something you can't get in the real world. There's no way in the world I could have a job where I can then wake up in the morning, decide to pop down to Costa, do a few leads over the phone, have my toast and Marmite, because I can. Taking the dog down to the seaside, down to Lyme Regis, because I can. Civil service, I have to fill in forms in triplicate. There are people here. I know Josh is just about to leave his job, and I believe he didn't like his job in the end because they were running him ragged. And he's really building this. Yes, Helen and Neil there, whoop whoop. And he, at the end of the day, he wants to create some lifestyle. Now, just one thing I've got to make a point is you don't get the lifestyle instantly when you join Clean Easy just because you join Clean Easy. You create an income, a residual income that comes in that gives you the time that can give you the lifestyle. Really important point. So lifestyle, to me, is the number one reason why people are in Clean Easy and why they stay in Clean Easy as you get to keep that lifestyle. And it's such a magical business that allows you to do it. So my final bit, if you like, is live your life on your own terms. And what I tried to do was just pick some of those slides from yesterday, which I think were really, really important, because there was an absolute theme there. All the speakers love this business so much you can't believe, because it's given them lifestyle. And just disappeared there for a second, and it gives them life on their terms. And you can ask every single person who's built a successful residual income in Clean Easy. It's living your life on your own terms. I just discovered, if you were there yesterday, Jill's mad as a hatter, goes off to China, goes all around the world. She got back early hours this morning from the meeting yesterday, and she's back on a plane out to Spain because she can. And I think that just sums up the business. So I'm kind of done. Grab the opportunity, guys, because you can create a lifestyle. We've got everything in place. Michael really came across to really give us huge confidence that our future is now about to rocket again. And it's out there for you to take whatever you want out of it so you can live life on your own terms. I'm kind of done. Sorry about the slides being all over the place. Not quite sure what happened there. But hopefully you've got a little bit of my enthusiasm for this business across. And, if you're thinking about getting stuck in and you want to maybe, move on and move out of your jobs or change things around in your life, then, grab it. There you go. So I'm kind of done. So hopefully you got something out of that. Have a fantastic week. And we'll catch up with you all very, very soon.